buddy of mine that shared with me some a crazy conversation actually with a not only a client but a friend of his that is a large real estate developer. This is going on in Tacoma, Washington. He develops multifamily properties and has been very busy. So my friend has done over 40 transactions with him, flipping properties and purchasing properties to develop. The conversation essentially went uh, downhill pretty quick when my buddy asked how he was doing. Because he said it was everything's good, everything's great, and that's always that surface level stuff. And he says, "Well, how are sales? How is the real estate? Are you looking for any properties?" He's all like, one thing that's killing me is my carrying costs." And and my buddy said it was like this. You could tell this nervous kind of stress, but just laughing it off. And it was, as a matter of fact, my buddy I'm talking about right now. He's a real estate professional. He's going to be down at the Silver Symposium with me in Las Vegas. And real quick, before I better plug it because for the next like 3 days, I'm the only one with this link. There's 500 seats available. 150 have already sold at SEIZURE's at the end of September. And if you want to meet like-minded people, I'll put a link below, a discount link, and literally everybody that walks into that place gets an ounce of silver. Um, and so we're trying to change the world and get people really. I want Ninja Nation there. I want 500 people from around the country or around the world from Ninja Nation to be meeting up and talking and stuff at this Silver Symposium. But my buddy that we're talking about, the real estate professional, and he's big. He's managed at one point, I think 140 agents at once. So he's really been top producer, multi six-figure income. He's crushing it. Well, this conversation with his friend, the developer, he laughed it off. He said that he was just really bogged down by the carrying costs. It's getting too much. The delays are too much. It takes him literally a year plus, maybe even 2 years to buy a piece of property, develop it into a multifamily, and then get it sold. And the interest is so heavy now on his balance sheet that it's really working him, and he's having a hard time keeping his guys busy. My buddy started talking to him about what he learned from being a part of Ninja Nation and warning him, and the guy got upset. And this is a common reaction to when you're involved in an industry, especially, and I'm going to talk about from my experience in 2006 in real estate. When you are heads down, nose to the grinds down, hammering the nails, just doing everything you can. You keep wash, rinse, repeat. You're just doing it over and over. You get blinded to what's going on around you. Well, when my buddy started telling him about the bank failures and what's going on around the world and the real estate dropping in price, and oh, by the way, he did share with my friend that he has dropped rents over 10% just to try and get people in. He's actually having a hard time renting to people, and he's having to drop his prices. So in Tacoma, Washington, which was just an absolute boom town a year or two ago, now it's just like the brakes are hitting, right? They're screeching to a halt. And this guy gets angry with him. Like, why? And he literally said, "Why would you tell me this? Why would you tell me this?" When in reality, my buddy and his buddy was only trying to warn him, trying to help him. Now, one thing that blows my mind with people that have a large real estate portfolio, they will tell me, "Oh yeah, things are bad." Well, are you still buying? "Oh yeah, I'm still buying." Why? Like, I can't stop because, these deals, I'm able to get, these creative cash flow deals, and I'm literally walking in for no money down. I said, "No, you don't look at it the right way. Sure, no money came out of your pocket, but now you have a $500,000 debt on your shoulders that you got to deal with. And what if you can't rent it?" And they always laugh. "Oh, I'll always be able to rent it." Oh yeah, what if your tenants lose their jobs? Well, a victim. All right, cool. That'll take 3 to 6 months. Then there's your carrying costs. Now, what if you can't rent it out again? And like they say, "Oh, we'll always be able to rent it." This guy that my buddy talked to, he's not laughing. He was trying to laugh it off in the beginning of the conversation. Then it turned worse, and he started sharing with him more and more. "Yeah, I'm having to drop my rents. Yes, I'm having to drop my prices when I sell. I'm having a hard time getting people in. The carrying costs are killing me," right? So he kept sharing more and more and more, and more revelations came out as the conversation progressed. Well, the problem is people get angry. And in 2006, I'll never forget it. One of my contractors that was working for me, we were flipping houses. At the peak, we were flipping a house every 6 weeks, me and my wife. My painting contractor, my real estate agent, like everyone around me started buying rentals. around 2004, right? They'd watched me for like 3 years making all this money and crushing it and all happy, and I was keeping them all busy. Like I was their biggest, you know, I wouldn't say benefactor. What do you call it? Like I was keeping them busier than any other clients, right? They're all independent contractors, and I loved it that way because it's so hard to deal with employees, the paperwork and all the regulations and stuff. That's what I mean. I love working with employees and hiring people and helping people, but man, the regulations kill you. And so he finally bought a couple of rentals, and I was stoked at first. I'm like, hey, congratulations, he bought one. And then he started buying another one. And then 2005 happened. In mid 2005 is when I started to learn, oh my gosh, the real estate market's turning and we got to sell. And I started liquidating. Now, what's funny is that he's probably painted, I want to say about 8 homes for me in the time that we knew each other. And I remember going to dinner with him one night, and we were all sitting around the table, and I was talking about the real estate market turning. And I'm like, they just finished telling me that they bought literally the house on the hill in our town, literally at the top of the hill. And they spent like some gnarly amount. It was like $780,000 for this house. And this is back in 2006. In my town, that was big money. That's like 1.5 million now. And I said, you need to sell it. And I was at dinner. I'm like, you guys got to sell it. Like flip it and make some money right now because this market's going down. And his wife, just the outburst, the screaming, yelling was insane. She kicked me out of her house, said she didn't want me back. And that, and it was funny that her husband chimed in as she was yelling. He goes, you know what? Why are you so jealous of us? I'm like, I'm not jealous. I'm trying to help you. And what they didn't realize is that I was liquidating 14 properties at the time. They didn't know half the properties I had because we didn't talk about it. We didn't want people knowing. That's a whole other story. When some people found out how successful we were, how things changed, and relationships and dynamics changed. But I was doing what I said on a much grander scale. He had 2 rentals. I had a lot more, right? And at that time, later come to find out, they were divorced within... So they lost that house. They lost every home they had, the 3 places. They lost them all. They had 3 young children. They were divorced within 2 years after that. Coming out to find out later on was that he forced her to go buy that other property and she didn't feel right about it. So her outburst to me was really should have been pointed towards him. But he started attacking me like I was jealous, thinking that he was on the same side as his wife. I mean, total miscommunication. But it's interesting going back to that story about my buddy talking to this large developer. He's stressed. He's laughing it off. Just he's nervous. Oh yeah, everything's good, man. Everything's great. Just trucking along, just trucking along. And then when he asked some more penetrating questions, then he started getting the truth. Thank you to everybody who hit the thumbs up, by the way, 126 people. Thank you. But it's very important that people understand this because when you pivot, you need to pivot. And most people don't get it. With people with large real estate portfolios, I always ask them, do you think the market's turning? Yes. All right, check this out. What are you doing about it? Nothing. All right, I've stopped buying. Hey, I have an idea. Why don't you line up all of your portfolio, take your best performers, your worst performers, look at the valuations, and start selling off your worst performers, and use that profit and pay down or pay off your best performers' mortgages. Not only will you be, instead of, let's say, having $5 million in the market, real estate market, exposed to like a potential 50% drawdown, you now have, let's say, $2.5 million worth of property in the market. Still going to be exposed to possibly a 50% drawdown, right, in prices. And not only that, your cash flow explodes on a percentage basis. Explodes because now you're not paying a mortgage. You're not paying interest and principal because you paid it off with the equity on those other homes. It's absolutely amazing. And I've sat down and penciled out a few of these deals with some large investors, and their mouths are just dropped. And it sounds so simple. It's such a simple concept. But the fact is, it's always the simplest things that confuse people, because especially in real estate, they expect it to be very difficult and very hard, to understand and comprehend. So if it's too simple, it can't be for them. And so I want to encourage you guys, if you're in the market, you have a large portfolio, look at how you can pivot or start to pivot your mind. But then once your mind's pivoted and you're like, okay, I can see this crash forming right now. I see it happening right now. Go into action, right? Faith without works is dead. Look, another thing I'll say, if you guys want to come together, this event down in Las Vegas is going to be massive. 500 people from Ninja Nation. I've got this code. I'm the only one with this code until for like 3 more days. It's like $99, but you get 10% off to get in. You get an ounce of silver, but you're literally going to be in a room of 500 people just like you. that are literally buying precious metals or saving cash to get ready for a real estate crash. So to meet some amazing people, it's an understatement. So I'm going to put the link below, and I'll also put a link to the crash course, real estate crash course, so you can start getting ready. Put those, line all those ducks in a row and get everything prepared, because we're not going to be buying this year. We're not going to be buying most of next year. It'll be that next year, 2025, we will be diving in, and trust me, you will be stoked. All right, guys, that being said, I thank you so much for watching. The Economic Ninja is out. Oh, wait, I'm not the, who is that Economic? I'm the Real Estate Ninja. Bye.